aspects and you implement these, you will start to realize how that has a direct effect on your life after Ramadan. Now, the big doozy. Life algorithm. You know, in the Quran, we have verses in the Quran where Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wal tanzur, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Repeatedly, Allah is saying, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, O you who believe, O you who believe. Those are the amanu, the mu'mineen, the ones who have gotten to the second stage. You have Muslim, mu'min, muhsin, Islam, iman, ihsan. If you want to get included into the category of mu'min, there are 30 qualities and traits that Allah talks about in the Quran that if you have those, you will become a mu'min. And I always explain, and I remember, I think it was 2 Ramadans ago, I gave a khutbah on this, here in this masjid, where I said, if you want to gain the one trait, it's very simple. وَالصَّائِمِينَ وَالصَّائِمَاتِ. What does that mean? The males who fast and the females who fast. That's one of the qualities of being a mu'min. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Right? وَالْقَائِمِينَ وَالْقَائِمَاتِ وَالرَّاكِعِينَ وَالرَّاكِعَاتِ وَالسَّاجِدِينَ وَالسَّاجِدَاتِ. What is that? These are aspects, ruku, qiyam, standing, bowing, prostrating. Right? If you want to gain one of the qualities of being a mu'min, take the fasting. That's the easiest quality to take. Easiest quality to take. Because fasting in the month of Ramadan, what is it? What is it categorized as? Someone said. It's fun. It's an obligation. You have to do it. Now, so if I fast in the month of Ramadan, everyone fasts in the month of Ramadan, am I counted as sa'imin or sa'imat? The ones who fast? No, because that's a fard, that's an obligation that I have to do. So now, here's an algorithm and a life hack to get this quality in your life. After Ramadan, how many days should you fast in the month of Shawwal? 6 days. Are those fard? No. They're not obligatory. They're optional. But what reward do you get if you fast those 6 days? As if you fasted the whole year, if you fasted the month of Ramadan, right? Subhanallah. And then the Prophet of Allah ﷺ says that the one who fasts on which days? Mondays and Thursdays. Take those days and fast on Mondays and Thursdays. And then he says that these are Yawman Bid, the days of, which are they? The white days. What days are those? Middle of the month, but which days? 13, 14, and 15, right? So what does that do? That makes you remember the Islamic calendar and the month, by the way. So that you don't get surprised, oh my God, Ramadan is here, right? But it keeps you in track, and then you fast in those middle days. And then you got the fasting of Dhul Hijjah, right? The 9 days of, the 9 days of Dhul Hijjah, right? Then you have the fasting of Ashura, right? And then you have those extra fasts when you do. When you get those, and these are the easiest things to do, especially if you're trying to get in shape, you take those fast days to go ahead and reset your body. SubhanAllah, that is the easiest way for you to take one quality, 1/30th of being someone who is Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, to gain, to become a mu'min. And when you do that, what it does is, then it will incline you to stand in qiyam with Allah. It will incline you to have khushu' with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will incline you to do ruku' better. It will incline you to do sajda better. Because now spiritually, your body is connecting with your heart. And when your heart is connected with your body for the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then your body, your mind, your soul is now connecting with Allah. And when your mind is connecting with Allah, that rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the Quran, that starts to, when you hold firm to it, it connects you and it brings you closer to Allah. So that when you're getting closer to Allah through the recitation and the Quran, when you recite the Quran in your salah, now your salah and the quality of your salah gets better. Then when your quality of your salah gets better and you're reading the Quran and understanding the Quran, it's going to make you more charitable. And when it makes you more charitable and you understand that the things that I'm going through and the difficulties I'm going through, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a way out for me. It's going to be through istighfar. You're going to start to do more istighfar. And when you start to combine all of these things, it becomes a domino effect. It trickles down by just taking one quality, inserting it into your life, and then that quality starts to have a domino effect. And it makes you closer to Allah, and it makes you closer to becoming a mu'min for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because then you are dealing directly with those qualities that you're inscribing into yourself. Not just mentally, but physically, you're inscribing it spiritually, and then the mental aspect, the mental gymnastics stop, and you start to focus. And when you have that focus with Allah, and you have that focus where you are directly thinking about Allah, then you start to connect with Allah. And then you know what happens? Then your environment becomes that in which Allah is remembered. You don't have to seek the environment will come and seek you because it will remind them of Allah. And if each and every one of us starts to do this, and the environment of 2.1 billion Muslims around the world becomes the environment of Allah, guess what type of magnetic effect it has around the world? Because then the dunya starts to become the environment of Allah. And that's when peace comes in this world. Because the ultimate aspect of Ramadan, Salamun hiya hatta matla al-fajr, is to gain peace. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst those whom He is pleased with. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be from amongst those who not only prepare for Ramadan, implement in Ramadan, allow that to permeate within ourselves so that that can be our guide for the rest of our lives, and allow us to increase our ibadah, allow us to increase every time we come across Ramadan, and allow us to live to see Ramadan. And every time we enter into Ramadan, it increases our connection with Allah and our relationship with Allah, with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was one other spiritual aspect that I forgot to mention. Increase your salawat, sending salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we start to do all of these things, our life starts to get better. Quality of your life will get better. Tests will come. The tests will increase. Because the quality of your life, when it gets better and you connect it with Allah, your tests increase. But those tests become easy for you to pass. Because then you keep going back and turning to Allah. May Allah guide us and may Allah protect us and accept us for us to be able to engage with Allah in the manner in which He wants us to engage with Him. Any questions? Any questions? Sisters, if you have questions, you can message on the answers from Quran group, inshallah. Any questions? No? No.
You didn't answer us about the shares.
About the shares? So if you're invested inside of a company, that's an investment that you made. What you pay zakat on is the dividends that you get from the company, not the actual shares. But nowadays, a lot of people are utilizing that right before the zakat anniversary, what they do is they'll invest in shares, and then they'll say, oh, technically I don't own, it's invested in shares, and then they'll sell it right after the anniversary, right, and take it back, which you can't play games with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows your niyyah, and He knows your intention.
Same thing related to what you just said. Basically in the zakat, it's a bit delicate because, counted the anniversary, but obviously your money is something fluctuating.
Fluctuates, yes.
So basically what you have as money today is not what you have in a week.
No.
And that increase, and then you have like the 1 year anniversary will switch because you have this kind of 10 days.
Yeah.
There are additional money that made the anniversary and they didn't make at that day, but you paid already the zakat. So how?
So
What's
the
the
anniversary date. So what I always say with that aspect that you're talking about, because money fluctuates. I will go below nisab, and then I'll go above nisab. I'll go below nisab, I'll go above nisab. How do I track which day I'm above nisab and below nisab? So what I always tell the brothers is, when you know you have a fluctuation that is going to go up and down, right? You know where you're going to be. Pick a date in the Islamic calendar, right? Everyone loves the 27th night, right? So that could be your date. 25th could be your date. 1st of Ramadan, end of Ramadan, whatever it is, right? It could be the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, wink, wink, right? Because that's the best day, because you give zakah in the daytime, you don't give it in the nighttime. But, or you can, but I'm just saying that that's the best day that Rasulullah also talked about, and we know what that day is. We don't know what night it is in Ramadan. But say you take the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, okay? And by the way, it's not based off of the Gregorian calendar, it's based off of the Hijri calendar, the Islamic calendar. Pick that day, and then take an average, right? If you see that there's fluctuation going, I always take the calculation, or what I do, what I have done historically and still do, alhamdulillah, may Allah protect me to keep doing it, right? Is I take the amount of nisab and I put it into an account. Okay, a non-interest bearing account. I just put it in there. So I know that I am above the level of nisab at all times. And then after that, whatever fluctuates up and down, I know that I've got that level of nisab, right? So that doesn't fluctuate, because I love giving zakah. I love to be in the position that, oh, Allah put me in a position where I can give. And I always put that there. That's a personal thing that I do. But if I ever go below where I need it, then I can always take from it. But I know the exact date that I had to take from it, because it's in an account and I can actually see it. Some brothers will put it on a spreadsheet of when it fluctuates, and then they'll have the feed come in from the banks and stuff. But for me, I always do that. But I also know that I've got other aspects and other materials, right? Or other investments, or I've got something that I've got a material value that will be above that nisab level. And then I always say, this is my date. And you carry on. That way, you won't miss your date that you can do. You won't lose out on, oh, when it was, when it wasn't, when it was, when it wasn't. It will always stay. And that way you're constantly giving. Even if that is, if there's 200 pounds in the bank, or 400 pounds, and that's your, or 500 pounds, and that's your level of nisab, right? How much are you giving? 2.5% on 500 pounds is how much? Come on. 7.5 pounds. 7.5 pounds. For every 100 pounds, you're giving 2.5. So 2.5 times 5 is what? 7.50. 7 pounds 50. 12.50? 12 pound 50 is what you're giving on 500 pounds? At least you're giving 12 pound 50. Right? You're fulfilling that hukuk, and you're making yourself stay above that because you've saved it. And that's what we have to do. You know, there's a hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam where he said that of the people that are under the shade of Allah. And one of them is whose heart becomes, how do you say baychan? Uneasy from salah to salah. He's waiting for the next salah to come in so he can pray the next salah inside of the masjid. Becomes uneasy. And that person is going to be under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What I say is, we should become uneasy like that for Allah, for each of the fard, for each of the pillars of Islam. If I haven't done Hajj, I should be so uneasy that I need to save up. That's the first thing I want to do before I go for Umrah, even if I haven't gone for Umrah. Before I do any, I want to go for Hajj. Before, if your family's from another country and you're a citizen here, but you want to go back home, before I do that, I want to go for Hajj. I want to fulfill my haqq that I've got with Allah, so that on the day of judgment, when I stand, I can say, Ya Allah, you knew what was in my heart. I desired to fulfill the fard that you gave me. In the grave, when I go inside of the grave, my heart should be beating so much so I don't want to miss my salah, so that when I go inside of the grave and I'm asked about my salah, that, oh Allah, I was so in love with my salah that I made sure I prayed my salah so I wouldn't miss my salah. Oh Allah, I wanted to fulfill the condition of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that I did not want to break where I commit shirk with you, shirk being that I associate a partner with you. That I say that this man or this woman is the son or the mother or the father of God. I didn't want to associate anything with you, so I stayed completely away from shirk. Even the shirk al-khafi, where I accidentally attribute an action that I have done when it's reality that you've allowed me to do. I should be, we all, not just me, we all should be in that mindset that, oh Allah, I am trying to do this so that I can be attached to your fard and I fulfill your fard. Fasting should be done in a manner where, Ya Allah, I was looking forward to it so much so that I was preparing in the month of Sha'ban. I was preparing 4 months out, and I was doing where I was sa'imin, I was sa'imat. I was fasting Mondays and Thursdays. I was fasting in the middle days. I was fasting on the Nawafil days, so I can be prepared for the month of Ramadan, so I can fulfill your fard in the best of manner. Oh Allah, I kept money aside, and I made sure that that money was there so that I can make sure that I can give zakah so that I can fulfill your fard. Can you imagine? You get up in front of your owner, and you're able to say, I did the best I could do in order for me to fulfill the rights you had upon me. ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. Can you imagine? سلام قولا من رب رحيم. Can you imagine on the day of judgment, because you had such a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you had such love with Allah Rabbul Izzah Rabbul Alameen, that you were constantly wanting to fulfill Allah's haqq, fulfill the fard, so much so that you wanted to do it in the best of manners, and then you stand in front of Allah. Don't you think Allah is going to say, enter into Jannah, my slave, with peace, with salam? Don't you think that Allah is going to have such mercy that He will give us the shade on the day of judgment for us to stand under, where there will be no shade, where there will be extreme heat with no light, and people will be in agony 50,000 years? Ya subhanallah, and then you stand in front of Allah because, Allah, I wanted to fulfill the conditions with you. Allahu Akbar. We got to call the adhan. I'm sorry guys. They need to call the adhan and we need to pray our sunnah. There is food after the salah. Hold on. Also, do we have water? Yes, inshallah we have water. Can we bring one message? Okay. So brothers, sisters, there is food. Suleiman, can you text me real quick what I need to send out? Brothers, just give me 1 second. For those that need to make wudu, please go ahead and make wudu. I've taken a little bit too long. I want everyone to go make wudu, come in, pray your sunnah. You know, if you haven't prayed your Tahiyat al-Masjid, pray Tahiyat al-Masjid. But also before you go, one last thing. 2 things I need you to do. Number 1, make intention that, oh Allah, I am preparing for Ramadan and I want it to be the best of Ramadans, and think about what you're going to do. Number 2, make niyyah and pray 2 rakahs asking Allah to forgive you. Make salat al-tawbah. Ask Allah to forgive you and say, oh Allah, if it's written for me to make it to Ramadan, allow me to be in the best of stage, and also give me the tawfiq and hidayah to reach the stage of iman and to become a mu'min, inshallah. Okay, so I just need to... Freddie, can you go give the adhan, please? Okay, so sisters, because the carpet is not downstairs, you will go upstairs to pray, and then you will come downstairs to eat, inshallah. And brothers, if you need to make wudu, go make wudu. For those that are in khidmah, if you can please assist me in putting the table up. Also, once the fard salah is done, we go upstairs. Those that are in khidmah, we start to dish out the food. Brothers, wait, pray your sunnah, pray your wittr, and then come upstairs, inshallah. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum, and please forgive me for making it so long. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
I think it's still filming.
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to do it, so I just had to.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
It is still filming, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still filming.
Crazy.
أشهد أن